If you ain't ready to get hit,
Well, allow me to drop some knowledge.
We have to disagree. I saw that Sailor Moon outfit.
BMF Army, you already know it's your favorite Jedi, the BMF goddess. Hoping that you all are doing well. You're enjoying the beginning of fall, which is kind of more like still the end of summer. It's spooky season, finally, my favorite. Anyway, tonight I have a very special guest, pro wrestler, uh, Rick Rose.
How you doing?
Thank you for being here.
Thank you for having me.
So, where are you from? Where were you born and raised at?
I'm from the Bronx, New York. Born and raised.
Hi, me
Yeah.
too. Born and
hmm
raised.
I'm from more uptown, like Allerton.
Okay, I used to live on Allison.
Oh yeah.
I've lived all over the Bronx. But that's what's up. How was life growing up for you?
Like growing up, it was, like regular Spanish household. We're all working to live and just happy to be where I am today, honestly. Just I don't know how I did it, but we did it, man. We here.
Right. That sounds like a true Bronx story. That's
hmm
how it is here in New York. New York is the toughest SOBs here because
If you can
you're
make it
not
here, you can make it
you're
anywhere.
not gonna make it nowhere.
Absolutely.
So I'm gonna start all the way from the beginning. How old were you when you first started watching wrestling? How did you get into it?
Uh, my mom was a Hogan fan. My grandma liked Hogan as well. So it was always, whenever there's WrestleMania, Royal Rumble, they throw it on always. So it was
So
always there.
it was a family thing.
hmm Yeah, I
Oh,
think I also had like an uncle that tried out at one point. I don't know about that, but
wow.
yeah,
He didn't
but
stick with
yeah,
it.
stuck with it. No, it was too tough, too hard. It's a lot. You gotta like getting beat up. So
So who was your first influence growing up? Your favorite?
uh, man, I say when I was like a teen, like a preteen, I would say Jeff Hardy. Jeff Hardy. But before that, Sting.
Yeah,
When he came, in the Raptors, coming white and black with the baseball bat, that was like whoa
that
to
was
me.
my
So,
favorite thing. Yeah.
my boy
What
Sting.
did you have that moment where you were like, "This is what I want to do"?
Uh, I had a couple of those moments, like going to a show and just be like, wow, like there's no breaks here. And you watch it on TV, there's commercial. You don't know what's happening in between. But no,
Right.
you get to see that no, the show still goes on even when the cameras, on their breaks, and you get to see that, it's more than just okay, action. It's way more than that. It's as soon as they come through the curtain and then as soon as they go through it, so way, live studio audience is it's just another level. Just another level.
So how long you been in the business now?
I mean, Google will say 17 years, but I feel like maybe 10, 11. But in expand of like 17, you take a break,
Right.
I got hurt, I had to rehab myself, get back to what I used to be and more. So there's that. But real life happens, like whether you're working or going to school, you gotta set aside your hobbies sometime to just focus on life and just getting you so you can do those things, so you're able to do your
Right.
passion. So it's a journey. Because I started young. I started like 16, like who's working at 16? You know what I'm saying? it was a grind, having to learn and trying to get the money together to do this stuff and go to the trainings and take the time to be good. You have to invest in yourself. So
Right. Absolutely. It does cost money for everything, your gear, your training. Who did you train under?
so well, I'll get into that. When my neighbor was Nutrius X, and
Oh,
he was, yeah, he was my neighbor, and he was just learning. He was like a year in, and I was like, he came over one day. He saw I had like a John Cena poster. We were neighbors, we were friends. Um, and he was like, "Yo, you like wrestling?" I was like, "Yeah, I love wrestling. I want to actually do it." And he's like, "Oh, I know a place that'll teach us." And then that's when we went to Empire Pro, and we learned from Nick Payne and Masai and all those guys that were there at the time. We learned from them, how to roll, how to bump, lock up, the drills. And then they took like a hiatus for like a year. And then within that year, I found a school on Google called IWF, owned by Kevin Knight. I went over there, trained for a couple of months. That's where I learned psychology. And then in that time, that's when Empire Pro came back. That I did put in there, I learned a lot. And I made sure to go sometimes 2, 3 times a week, to really get all that information in, all the stuff that I needed. And then went back to Empire Pro, and I say I turned it up, for those last 2 years that I was there. And then I felt like I was ready, and I tried out for Ring of Honor in 2011, and that didn't work out. I told myself, if that doesn't work out, then I'll go to Johnny Roz's club over there in Glease's gym. And I
uh,
was there. Yeah, I was there for like three
that's how.
years. It was fun. I got to meet a lot of people, and that's like the beauty of wrestling. You get to travel and journey and meet all these guys, and some of these guys are still wrestling to this day, which is like, wow, good for you. Um, and then after that, that's when I got hurt, took a break, and then I came back, trained for I want to say 7, 8 months before I even had a wrestling match. I trained almost a year just to get back into shape. And then, yeah, I've been getting booked ever since, whether it's every month or every other month. I try to stay consistent. And then what else I do? Oh, I actually got myself in the door for Battle Club Pro. So now I'm over there
Nice.
practice. Yeah, now I'm over there practicing every week. I've been going every week for the past, what, 2, 3 months now. And they've been using I love Battle Club Pro. Let me just say that. I love that they let me be creative, right? Because one thing that I love to do is tell stories in the ring. I don't like to just go out there and just do whatever. I like to bring the best out of my opponent, bring the best out of myself, and tell a great story, right? They let
Right.
me do that. They let me do promos, vignettes, like background stuff and I'm working with a lot of new guys, which is okay because if they're all ears and willing to learn, we
Right.
can we can take this to the top. You know what I mean? So that's how I see it. I want to make a good impression, not only for myself, but for everybody that I get to work with. So like I really do love going over there, and really like and it's not like I know everything. They're teaching me things too. You know what I mean? Like I'm learning just like everyone else. And I'm like I said, I'm just happy to be in the scene, whether it's the littlest thing or not. Like I'm grateful. Thank you. You know what I mean?
I love that. First of all, Battle Cup Pro, the Fallout Shelter.
Yeah.
I have a great respect for them and everybody who works there. It's very professional. You're learning from some of the really best um, talent on the indie scene,
Oh yeah.
and I'm
Yeah, they're
happy. I'm
really
happy to
good.
hear that. That's what's up.
Yeah, they're
Um,
really good. I'm learning a lot. I'm not gonna lie, and they're keeping me in shape. Check it out. See what I mean? So
okay,
I
shit.
can't get mad. I've been going every week. I'm telling you, I've been busting my ass, I'm learning these
That,
drills.
that's
And
what.
just soaking everything in and just grateful to be there, man. I'm happy they'll give me a chance.
I love that you say that because I've noticed over the years that there are select uh new gen or Gen Z that's coming into the business, and after maybe a few months or a year, they're not as humble, or
Mm,
some don't think criticism, all that that you say you soak in because there's always more to learn.
mm-hmm.
Some don't feel that way and they don't understand because then you're in the business. So what would you say to somebody who's like, oh man, I feel like I deserve this, and I've been working so hard, but they are still green, which means relatively new to the business. What would you tell them?
I would say wait your turn, take your time because the guys in front of you have been doing this a lot longer. And if it wasn't for them, there won't be a show. Like really, really. They're the ones selling the tickets, they're the ones that's drawing the crowd. So just roll with the punches because like in this business, there's no off season. So you never know when a person's gonna go get married or maybe an injury happen, God forbid, but things come up, go to school, whatever. That's your opportunity to step up. Look for those little opportunities because that's what's really gonna get you to that next level. It's just being humble, just wait your turn. That's all I can really say. You may have all the tools, but you don't have the longevity, and these guys can give you that. So just work with them. If they got a spot for you, hey, at least they thought about you. Look at it like that.
I've heard from a lot of vets that first of all, you don't really know your full self at the beginning. It takes
Right.
kind of years to get that footing and really step into your own. But
Absolutely. Absolutely. I say it takes at least close to 2 years to really find your bread and butter, find your name, find like your catchphrases, your sign offs, what I mean, your gear, your look, your music. All this stuff takes time. You gotta like really, yeah, you gotta really like be diabolical, strategic about what you're doing. Like how can you sell yourself just by going through the curtain, not just by
yep.
needing like a whole, like, oh, I need video, I need these guys to tell this story for me. You can't do that in the indies. In the indies, you got to show what you are when you come through that curtain. And, like,
People to remember you. Like you'll be
exactly,
like, hey, I remember that person. The
exactly.
whole
Yeah,
package is important.
very.
I know a lot of great wrestlers who aren't particularly good in any other field, and they don't make it that far. So you will want to soak in all the knowledge that you could get from people who already know what they're doing.
Yeah.
What kind of wrestling?
Psychology.
Huh?
What type of what?
You was gonna say the psychology?
Yeah,
Psychology
psychology
of
is
wrestling is really
very
important.
important. Yeah, and I feel like that takes like you learn that after you learn all these drills and understand like how to hit the ropes and your body is adjusted to like the ring and like the way you're gonna be going through this beating of a lifestyle. You gotta once you understand, once your body gets used to that, then you should be good to go to understand like the structure in a match, telling a story. And it could be either very simple or very technical, depending on what the type of wrestler you are.
Right. What kind of wrestling style would you say that you
Rick Rose
specialize
is
in?
a mix of technical, high flying, a little bit of holds, a little bit of striking. I put the in innovation. So what I like to do is make something new, something that you haven't seen before, like the up and overkill that I do, or the double springboard elbow drop, stuff you never seen before. But if you've seen it, you'll be like, oh wow, that looks cool. Something similar to what I'm used to, but it's different. You know what I'm saying? So that's what I bring to the table. I like to tell promoters, if you want to see a certain move that I do, you got to let me know, because if I'm gonna just go out there just to go out there, I'm gonna do my thing. I'm not gonna do a move
Right.
that I did last week or the week before that. So if you want to see a certain move, please let me know. But other than that, I'm gonna try to do something new. I'm trying to go viral in a sense too. You know what I mean? Like new stuff
Absolutely. Good.
is
That is
yeah.
the way of the world now.
You know what I'm saying? So everybody should be happy with that. At the end of the day, it goes viral, right? Like
What are some of the pros and cons of the business for you?
pros and cons. I say the pros, you get to travel and you know the exposure is there. You just got to put in the work. Um, and the notoriety you get, people see you. Oh, you're a familiar face. They like that. They like that you move around. They like that. Um, that's fun. That's good. The cons. You're gonna have to deal with aches and pains, certain, after certain shows, and depending on what type of match you got thrown into. Take care of your body is very important. But yeah, I would say that would be the bad thing about the wrestling is the aftermath. Sometimes even after practice, depending on what coach is in there with you, pushing you. Yeah,
Mhm.
after practice, you'll be like, oh, I don't even want to go to work the next day, but you gotta go.
What are some of the achieve? What are some of the goals that you have for yourself?
See, next year, like one of my goals for Battle Club Pro is to actually get on the main card. That's Battle Club X is cool, but I want to I eventually get to the main card, the main show. That's for that. For EBW Pro, it's just steal the show, steal the show, prove that I'm the top guy. Prove, you know what I mean? Just keep proving it because the last four shows, sorry, stealing them. And I encourage the other guys in the roster to top my performance. I encourage you guys to do that. You know what I mean? If not, I'm gonna keep stealing the show, and that's always been my goal wherever I go. So
Right. That should be the goal all the time.
it should, but it's not for everybody. Sometimes some people want to just come in, just
Right.
do a little 8, 7 minute match, and that's fine. That's fine. I have no problem cooking something up that I think can go viral even in that. You know what I mean? It doesn't have to be spectacular or nothing. We don't even have to jump off the top rope or you know what I mean? Like it's just we'll keep it wrestling, we'll tell a great story, and that's my thing. So
Right.
I like working the crowd. And I like being a heel. I love being a bad guy. So and I think if you could be a real good bad guy, it doesn't matter how good the good guy is. You know what I'm saying? Like who's Batman's arch enemy? You know what I'm saying? Lex Luthor, right? Who's oh no, I said Batman, right? I meant to say Superman. But Batman is his Joker, right? How good is Batman without Joker? How good is Superman without Lex Luthor? You know what I mean? You need the bad guy. You need somebody that could tell a story, that can get to the hearts of the people. Because I
Right.
love wrestling just like everybody else. So I know what to say to get to you. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So, and I love that. And I love that. And not for nothing, wouldn't you want to wrestle a guy that's more smaller than a guy that's huge, as might crush you and hurt you? So think about it like that, guys. But yeah, that's just me. Power to the short wrestler, to the little guys. We still here.
So I asked all the wrestlers this question just out of curiosity.
Mm.
If you were to get a call from a mainstream promotion, who would you want it to be and why?
The goal will always be WWE. Why? Because they're more about the storytelling in the ring. They're more about the story. AEW is cool, but they're more about like spot, 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 spot. And I'm not saying I can't do that, but my specialty is just telling a story, working the crowd, building up anticipation. Like really making you believe I'm putting the beats on that heel, on that baby face. You know what I mean? And making you believe that when he comes back, He's coming back with that fire that you grew up watching as a kid and going, wow, I hope he come on, Rocky. Remember those
Oh my
days?
God, I can't wait for the next episode.
We don't, and we're missing that. If you ask me, we're missing that in the scene. Like, you really don't see it like that. So
Yeah, it's rare, but you definitely are in the right place for that because I do follow. I haven't been fortunate enough to go to a show yet, which I plan on in the very near future, but I do follow Battle Club. And
yeah, shout out to Battle Club, man. They're great. They're absolutely great. I'm blessed to be a part of that.
they just had an anniversary, right?
Yeah, I was there. Yeah. I had we taped Battle Club X before Battle Club Pro. So I wrestled prior or before that show. And
Okay.
yeah, that was fun. I was happy to be a part of that. That was just for X, that we did tapings for X. So you'll
Yeah.
see that match eventually. It'll be posted. I think we're like 3 or 4 weeks in. We'll probably keep doing it every week all the way to like December, maybe January. And then we'll start, editing and all that stuff. But
Okay.
yeah, that's for Battle Club, Shout outs to them. I'm happy to be a part of that. They definitely keep me busy, and that's what I want to be. I want to be busy. So
Right. So, what would you like to be remembered for in the business?
that's a good question. I mean, anything, honestly. Just remember anything. I don't care if maybe it's my hair, maybe it's the music, maybe it's the way I come out with the attire, maybe you like the aesthetic, maybe you like the story I tell, maybe you just like the moves. Like anything. I don't care. Just like anything, man. Just get me over. Get me
Fair,
over, man.
fair
I don't
enough.
know. I don't know. Because somebody could like that aspect of you, and then the guy next to you just likes the other aspect, So
Right.
everybody has their thing that they like about wrestling, and that's cool. That's what makes wrestling wrestling.
What is your approach to crafting a compelling match? How do you collaborate with an opponent to tell your story?
So when it comes down to writing a match, you got to know your opponent. You got to know what their thing is. Whether they're a power guy, like a muscle guy, or maybe they're a high flyer, maybe they're a submissionist, maybe they're a striker. You know what I mean? It all depends on your opponent. So whatever their like, whatever their thing is, you gotta like work with them. So if they're forcing you to like, if they're trying to strike, you force them to wrestle. You go under, you put them in a waist lock, you throw them in a headlock. You force them to wrestle instead of just going into a brawl. You know what I mean? But you show that this guy is trying to swing. He's not trying to wrestle. He's trying to brawl. You show that. That's the beauty of storytelling. So it all depends. So if you're working with a guy who's more like a wrestler, then
Yeah.
you obviously want him. Like usually the wrestler is a babyface. You obviously want him to out wrestle you, no matter what. You might do a shoot a leg, you know what I mean? But you want him to always get the upper hand on you, and then you work. You're like, yeah, get the rope. You want to work the crowd, work him, make the ref do something. Obviously, you know what I mean. Make it look real, and that's the storytelling. You know what I mean? And then it shows like the heel can't wrestle the wrestler, so what's he do? He starts doing underhanded tactics to get an
Yeah.
advantage. And people will eat that up. They're like, "Oh my god!" Like, "Oh, like why didn't I think of that?" But that's the beauty of it. That's the beauty of it. And then you inspire the guys in the back to do something different, to not just go in there and and then we're just spotting. Like, no, tell a story. Show that you can wrestle. Even if it is 8-10 minute match, you could do a lot in 8 to 10 minutes. You could do a lot in 8 10 minutes. You know what I mean? But that all comes down to the wrestlers,
Have
the
you ever had to
performers.
work with had you ever had to work with someone who was really difficult?
Oh no! Thank God. Thank God. Everybody that I got to work with was an absolute pleasure. you know, they understand that I'm gonna bring the best out of them. So what better way to, you know, work with somebody like that than to actually work with them. So they know that I'm the type of person that if I'm wrestling you and I know I'm wrestling you like in a month's time, I would write a whole match like ahead of time and then send it to that wrestler and be like, what do you think of this? You know what I mean? Just to see like if they like it, if they don't like it. And of course they're gonna like it because it's gonna be very storytelling, very compelling, the best out of them, the best out of me, tell a good story. And if they want to tweak it, they can tweak it. We can always change certain things. I'm willing to, oh, you don't want to do this signature? You want to do this signature? Okay, we'll switch it. Like, I'm okay with that. You know what I mean? But we got to make sure it makes sense. So if we're going to do that, then we got to like change this and this. But overall, like I care so much about the whole match and tight like and its whole than I care about myself, you know, because it takes two to tangle. I'm on like I really do need my partner to really make a good match. I can't do it by myself. So I will literally look up my opponent's moves. Like I will look at a bunch of matches and be like, okay, like this is their style, this is their comeback, this is their signature, this is their finisher. Now I got to work with that. And how can I put that all together and make it make sense? Whether he's the heel or the baby face or I'm the heel, you know? Hopefully I'm the heel. But yeah, uh, it's a lot. It's a lot, but like once you keep doing it for a long time, it's like second nature, you know? And you'll get better at it the more you do it, just like anything, you know? So
I could tell you know your psychology. I love everything I just heard. Mm-mm.
yeah,
It's very
yeah.
very true.
There's one thing you got to get down is the psychology. Like I feel like that's so important. You know, you can have your whole moveset, but if you don't know how to put it together the right way, how you really getting over? You know, the fans are gonna know who's a good performer in that ring because they see it on TV every week. They see it 2, 3 times a week. So
How do you mentally and physically prepare for a match?
train every week. Like I told you, I gave you a little secret. I like to send over a video of me talking through the match to the wrestler just to see if they like what they heard. You know what I mean? And if they want to tweak it, we can tweak it. You know, that all depends on if I know who I'm facing. Now, if I don't know who I'm facing, if I'm just showing up and oh yeah, you're on the card tonight. I need you to go against this guy, whatever. Um, you know, in wrestling, there's no off season. You gotta be ready. You gotta be ready to go. WWE can call whenever they want. You know what I'm saying? That's the best way I could really describe it. You just gotta be ready to go. You gotta be ready to go. And I would say have an open mind too. You know what roster you're going to. Understand the people that you may face. Like if I may face, say if I may, you know, face Jacko, for instance, that might be a really good match. We got some luchador-ish thing going on here. We got high flying, mixed with technicality, a little bit of power. We could really tell a good story. You know what I mean? I would think of stuff like that, like if that were to happen. But
Mhm.
you know, it all comes down to right now. I'm in Battle Club X, so who's ever. I mean, it has happened where the main roster guys came to Battle Club X and they just fought. What they just gave a title shot out just to give a title shot out, right? It has
Right.
happened. So I'm not putting that like you know what I mean, but I'm looking at like the actual X roster, and I'm like, okay, I could do something with him. I could do something with her. I could do something with him. But I'm also looking at the new guys too. Like, okay, if they do put us with each other, I got to remember like keep it very simple. Don't do too much, but you know, try to bring the best out of your opponent. Whatever their you know gimmick is, whatever their style is, got to try.
Where's your dream place? Or some of your places you would like to wrestle at? That's not
I
New
go
York.
anywhere. I wrestle anywhere, man. Anywhere, anybody. You know, preferably my height, but I don't mind a big guy. You know, as long as they know how to work, man, and tell a good story, I'm willing to work in from the very bottom and scratch my way all the way up. And maybe you just need me to just enhance a guy. I'll enhance a guy. I'll get him over. Whatever, man. It don't matter. It all depends on what they want. Because me, if you tell me what I want, I would come in and I would love to do like storyline stuff. I would love to tell a story, come in, maybe do a run in, make someone lose. Now the fans know, like, oh, this is the guy that he made this guy lost his shot, da da da. And now he wants to go after him. So the next show it would be me versus him, 1-on-1. And I can even come out, do a promo, and talk and brag about how I made him lose and lost his title shot and all this stuff. And now he's in the back of the line. You know what I mean? And people will eat it up. They'll be like, "Yo, this guy is freaking like hilarious, right?" So, and then they can come out and cut me off, and then we could just go right into the match, man. What's all this talk? What's all this small talk? Let's just fight, man. You know what I mean? They're gonna love that stuff. We go in there, we work. I put the guy over. Now everybody wants him to win. You know what I mean? Like, now everybody wants him to win, and I did my job. And then now they want to see what I do next, and that's the thing. What do we do next? Am I just a one hit off?
Right.
I don't know. That's the business. They gotta like you. So it's tough.
What's your favorite move to execute?
Uh, man, I just like making my new stuff. I like doing the cart. I like, when they do a snapmare, I like to cartwheel out the snapmare and do an insecurity kick. I like doing shit like that. I like my up and overkill. Yeah, I like doing different stuff. Like I'm not gonna say shooting star. I'm not gonna say Canadian destroyer. I'm not gonna say 450 split. I'm not gonna say that. Everybody does that. You know what I mean? I'm gonna say I like my stuff. My
Right.
stuff. My stuff has some cadence. My stuff has some
Like the
some
super
weight.
kick over you.
Yeah, like some super kick's cool, man. Everybody does a super kick though. I love that move, but damn.
Right. It's like, once upon a time it was Shawn Michaels and Sweet Chin Music, and now everybody, maybe the amount of times that they do it per match is a little excessive. I'll be like, okay, how many of those are you gonna do?
I lost count.
So,
And
I'm
if you
sure
count them
fans
count them
enjoy the
throughout the
fact that
night,
you switch it up.
yeah, just count them throughout the night. That's just, oh my god, too many, too many. So yeah, I try to be different, and I try to tell guys, you don't want to be the same as the matches before you and the matches after you. You want to stand out, because if they only remember your finish, then they're really not going to remember if that's this. You know what I mean? Like, what if that's the same? You got to make sure your act is something unique.
Yeah. Especially on the indie scene. Being that people actually have to pay attention to keep up with things, uh, that's relatively more important.
Yeah,
I've
absolutely.
been going to indie shows since I'm a kid, and I will go to a show and something will completely bore me. I probably won't even remember you the next show.
He's like, hey, how you doing? You shake their hand, say, hey, nice to meet you. My name is Rick. They're like, oh, we met before. I'm like, we did. It's bad. I know, and I'm like, oh yeah, you were that match. Yeah, keep it up, bro.
I've come across some people that are, even if the crowd is smaller, they just won't put the effort because they're like, hey, there's not really nobody out there. But I feel like it should always be important because you never know.
Yeah, I would say you don't know who's watching either. You know what I'm saying? Because if it's being recorded, you don't know who's watching it. Is it gonna be online? And then they might judge you off that one performance and never want to watch you ever again because they saw that. They saw that you didn't bring it, you didn't give it your all in front of nobody. Like, you need a crowd just to work. That's not, in Fallout X, there is no crowd. It's the boys you're wrestling in front of. So you better be good because they're gonna let you know. They're gonna boo you. They're gonna, cheer you if they like you. So I don't want to compare and contrast, but you just got to get used to it, man. You got to get used to it. You got to be ready to just wrestle and just if you love it as much as you say you love it, then it doesn't. That crowd shouldn't matter. The crowd shouldn't matter. You're in the ring. You're doing what you love. Do it.
Right. Mhm. All right. I actually don't have any more questions, but I want to thank you for being here and giving us your time. I would
Absolutely.
definitely want my audience to get to know you because I'm gonna be following more Battle Club stuff.
Yeah. Can I say one
Yeah.
thing?
Of course.
My next match will be 101 against Geronimo at EBW Pro, November 15th. I'm gonna be giving it my all. My opponent is definitely well known, and this is a match that I need under my belt. So I'm definitely gonna be, like I said, stealing the show. That's
Bringing it.
always been the goal. And what better opponent to have, what better dance partner to have that with than Geronimo? So I'm absolutely blessed to be a part of that. I know I don't sound like a heel right now, but I will when it's showtime. And
Mhm.
I just want you guys to know that I'm grateful and like for the opportunity. You know what I mean? So thank you, EBW Pro, for giving me that. And thank you for having me on here to express that. I really do appreciate that a lot.
I will be sharing these clips when I release this. So thanks again. It was great meeting you. I have
Absolutely.
even more respect for you now. So thank you.
Absolutely. I'm glad to have that talk. And what we got to do another one of these. This was fun.
Definitely have to
Yeah.
once you're farther along, definitely to reconvene and catch up with you.
Yeah.
Uh,
I
I
got one
will
of
add
these,
his
That's
I
pretty
will
good
add
too.
his social media. Love it. So you guys definitely follow him and everything that he's doing.
I'll most appreciate it.
Have a good night. May the force be with y'all. Later.
Later.